Journalists from the New York Times spent days with Venezuelan migrants as they made their way across a dangerous 66-mile stretch of jungle known as the Darien Gap. They write, quote, "It became clear that a combination of desperation, the enduring pull of the American dream, and deceptive social media posts are creating a humanitarian crisis unlike any previously seen in the Darien." Joining us now with journalists behind the story, Julie Turkowitz, and Andy's bureau chief for the New York Times, I should say, and Federico Rios, a photojournalist also with the Times based in Colombia. I thank you for being with us. Julie, you wrote that you saw in Darien a humanitarian crisis unlike any previously seen there. What did you see?
Yeah, thank you so much for having us. We just finished crossing the entire route. We were with tens of thousands of people who, as you noted, are fleeing a humanitarian crisis, only to find another humanitarian crisis in the Darien. We saw a lot of families, a lot of people bringing their children, a lot of people with disabilities, a lot of people who are not prepared for this kind of trek, and a lot of people who began this trek for two reasons. One is because they believed that the United States was going to let them in at the end, which by default was the policy until just a few days ago. And second, because of social media. I mean, the way that the Darien journey has been shared on social media has just exploded in the last couple of months inside Venezuela and also in the countries around Venezuela. And people are seeing pictures of their friends, their family, of others doing this journey, and they believe that they too can do it. And I should add to that there are a lot of bad actors using social media to promote their guide services and to spread misinformation and make this trip look a lot easier than it is.
Even though, Julie, I mean, the folks that I've spoken with, and I haven't done that trek, and I am so in admiration for both of you to actually do that and to risk it all to cover this important story. Folks know that the Darien is a hell. And they also know that after they get through that ring of hell, Dante's Inferno, they have to go through Mexico, which is another ring of hell for many. But they're aware of the dangers and of that. And yet, Julie, they're willing to do that. Why?
I think that, anybody who's talked to anybody who has lived in Venezuela, lived through the past couple of years of crisis, knows that there are many, 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 many families who are exhausted by the crisis, and they are exhausted by not knowing if they're going to have food for their children the next day. They're exhausted by jobs that don't pay enough to buy a week or a day's worth of food. Many, 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 many Venezuelans, following the sort of beginning of the humanitarian, economic, political crisis that began in the countries between 2013, 2014, 2015, many people had moved on to places like Colombia and Peru and Ecuador and have not been able to find decent jobs and decent livings in those countries. And so, pulled by social media, pulled by this belief that the U.S. is going to let them in, they are risking they're risking their lives. One of the women that we talked to said,
go ahead.
That she's not looking for the American dream. She's not looking for some kind of luxury. She's looking for safety and tranquility, and to be able to know that she's going to be able to send her child to school and feed her child the next day.
And Federico, you captured these extraordinary images, just amazing. What stays with you in the photographic memory of your soul?
Well, Jose, I think what stays with me is the pain of these people. They're suffering, they're having a bad time crossing hell, as you said. But they are doing it because they dream about a better future for them and for their families. That's their goal, and that's where the energy comes from, to keep walking into the mud, into the jungle, with blisters and broken bones. It's like that's hell. That's hell. Crossing the Darien Gap is crossing hell. These people is not prepared. They don't know what they have to face to cross there, and encouraged by other people doing it. So most of them told us they thought if someone else did it, they could do it. But at the same time, it's like at the end, when we asked if they would do it again, most of them said no. I wouldn't do this again for no reason, and I wouldn't recommend it to anybody.